Hey guys, it's me, Video President 102, and today we are reading chapters 14 through Epilogue of Bad Guy. This may take a while, so hold on tight. This will be added to my playlist, and you could read the whole story with a voice over it. Of course, with a lot of mistakes and goofs, but whatever. Roman stared at the table in shock. Logan? Penn said softly, trembling. Are you sure? Logic dipped his head, face blank and neutral. I've done my research. It adds up. This is the only reason for anxiety's behavior. You're saying it like he has no choice how he behaves? Someone said. Surely it was his original behavior that caused this. Yes. Well, well, that is true. Anxiety's attitude and self-hatred have been heightened recently, and after the anxiety pills, it comes to no shock to me that he has depression. Anxiety pills you told Thomas to take, Roman said venomously. He hadn't forgiven, nor had he forgotten. Logan disregarded the comment. At first I believed it to be a depressive episode, though on further investigation it does appear that something or someone is amplifying anxiety's negative thoughts and feelings. So, what do we do? Patton whispered. Well, what can we do? Roman said. This is anxiety's depression. We can't fight this battle for him. He has to do it himself. And I have no intention of doing so. Salutations, anxiety, Logan greeted calmly. I assume you have heard the majority of our conversation? Our private conversation? Roman corrected, heart beating wildly after anxiety's unexpected presence. Anxiety snorted. Wasn't very private if you guys were talking in the kitchen. And besides, you guys always talk about me behind my back anyway, so it's really no shock. Kiddo, Patton began when anxiety held up his hand. Spare me the excuses, he sighed. I've heard it all before. Look, let me just say, Derek is none of your business, so leave me and him alone. Derek? Roman repeated. You gave it a name? Roman, Patton scolded quietly. Anxiety's eyes grew icy. You have a name, do you not? He said sharply. So why should my depression not? It is because you think it's a disease. Just because anxiety is a disease. Just like anxiety is a disease, it is because you fathom how a disorder has a name and a personality because aren't disorders monsters? That's not what I meant, Roman protested feebly. Oh, I'm sure, Anxiety scoffed. Look, so what you want about me? Say what you want about me, about my personal life, out of it. How do you feel about your depression? Logan asked suddenly. Anxiety shrugged. I finally have someone to talk to, I guess. But, what? Prince spluttered. You have us. You don't get it, do you? Anxiety hissed. I'm not part of your buddy group. Never have been, never will be. You aren't my friends. This is partly your fault, Roman argued. We tried to get through to you, and you shut us out. Well, what am I supposed to do? Anxiety snapped, throwing his hands in the air. You mock me, blame me when I do things wrong. I do my job, and you yell at me. My name is Anxiety. That is my brand. My name is a brand to me. I am not going to civil you when you are less than civil to me. Oh, is all Roman managed. Derek understands that, Anxiety finished, dangerously close to crying. He understands what it's like to not fit in. We didn't know, Pan said quietly, and Anxiety scoffed. You didn't bother to look past the makeup and the scowl. Of course you didn't know. We are sorry, Roman said. Save it, Anxiety said. I've heard it all before. Would you just stop? Roman exploded, his temper beyond his control. He was tired and stressed. Anxiety wasn't making it any better. Just stop. Stop what? Anxiety shot back. Come on, if there's something I'm doing wrong, tell me what it is then. Just stop breathing, Prince muttered childishly. That would be good. Anxiety's eyes widened, his face paling. There it is, he whispered. Patton's shocked gasp and still audible as Anxiety turned around and walked away, his bitter laugh echoing on the walls. Roman! Patton yelled. Why would you say that? Roman slumped. I don't know. He's heard it all before. Why should it bother him now? Logan cleared himself. He cleared himself. Logan cleared his throat. Do you lack brain cells? He asked. Anxiety has its own personal depression. It has grown attached, and obviously Anxiety relies on it heavily. Despite having heard it before, his highly negative thinking will almost likely cause a mental breakdown, possibly pushing him to suicide and self-harm. Patton dissolved into tears, and Roman closed his eyes. I can't simply apologize for this, can I? No, you can't! Patton stood up, tears falling from his face like rain. Do you understand what you've just done? If he fades, it's all going to be your fault! Patton? Mercy turned and fled, leaving the two. Logan sighed. Thomas had to be feeling very confused, he said casually. All this tension and the wild emotions. I pity him. Does the gravity on the situation not bother you? Roman questioned. Logan shrugged. I've calculated all possible outcomes. Most of them aren't too harmful for Thomas. I doubt that Anxiety will do anything drastic, as he cares for our host as well. So no, I am not too bothered with the situation. You do play a part in this. And I regret that. But it's beyond my control now. Roman shook his head. I can't believe you sometimes. Logan tilted his head. I'm not a fictional character to believe in. I can't stand some decisions you make. I don't know how you can remain so calm and detached. It's not easy, the teacher admitted. I would love to join you and Patton in your frivolous activities, but I have been labeled boring and unfeeling, so that is what I become. I don't think you're unfeeling, Roman comforted. Boring, yes, but only because you choose books over us. Well, I'd much rather read books than slay an imaginary dragon witch. How dare you? Oh, I dare. Okay, next chapter. There's an ad. Chapter 15. They would look for him soon. Derek watched him, caution evident in his posture. Virgil, I don't... Quiet! Anxiety hissed, focusing. I need to hurry this up. Slowly, oh ever so slowly and painfully, he withdrew from Thomas's consciousness, effectively removing himself from the boy's emotions. There. Now I won't affect anyone anymore or anything when I get random spikes of anxiety. Virgil, Derek sighed. This isn't right. I'm trying to spare Thomas, Anxiety spat. Why is that so wrong to you? Derek had no answer. Exactly. So hush and make me feel bad. He could already feel Thomas getting twitchy, lazy, and uncaring all in one go, and for a moment he felt the slightest touch of guilt. Then Roman's words echoed in his head, and he was reminded yet again how little he was wanted. If they didn't want him, they wouldn't get him. He began humming, a nervous habit of his, so he picked up his headphones, longing to drown out the real world in music and sweet nothing. He shut out Derek and his worries and his room, and closed his eyes until he felt them in his room. Immediately, he ditched the headphones and motioned for Derek to hide. He didn't want the others to see Anxiety's weakness. He could feel them all, wonder and worry mixing together. He sighed. He just wanted to exist in peace. If he wasn't attached to Thomas, he would fade eventually. What are you doing in my room? He yelled, appearing. He wasn't expecting Roman to screech like a little girl. Something in his chest crumbled, and their reactions upon his arrival. It was then he knew that he made the right choice. Derek knew nothing. Anxiety? Thomas questioned, and then gasped. Oh my god, I'm so happy to see you! The trace's heart lifted. That's weird. And he was quickly disappointed. You literally all screamed in unison upon seeing me, he said dryly, hiding behind his sarcasm. Sorry, Logan apologized. It's just you just do this thing. Where you just kind of appear. Eternally, anxiety raised an eyebrow. He'd never known Logan to stutter like that before. A bad feeling settled in the pit of his stomach. Wait, Thomas yelled. What am I wearing? What is my hair? Welcome back, Thomas, Roman welcomed, throwing a host of hairbrush he got from who knows where. Thanks, Roman, Thomas said, straightening himself and throwing the hairbrush back. That's a thing. Okay, It had Prince and anxiety tucked away in his amusement. Look, anxiety, you don't understand. Come on, Prince whined quietly. For some reason, I wasn't feeling your presence at all, Thomas continued. Anxiety sighed. He knew the confirmation was coming, but for him to have to face them so soon, he wasn't ready. Yes, you are. He smiled as Derek's encouragement sparked some sort of confidence boost. Yeah, I know. He took a breath. It's because I decided to duck out. Quack. Petting giggled, trying to lighten the situation. What? Duck out? Quack, quack. That's a thing you can do? Roman asked quietly. For this video, I guess, Logan answered. Anxiety gritted his teeth. He'd gone through a lot of pain to remove himself from Thomas's range, and the emotions were dissing him for it. Oh, ad in the middle of the reading. Isn't that fun? What do you... Oh, hi. You scroll down. Okay, there's Quack. Oh, the ad disappeared. Okay. Yeah, let's get this microphone down a bit. What do you mean? Thomas said sadly. I removed myself from the equation, Anxiety snapped. I quit. Decided it wasn't worth it anymore. Why would you do that? Thomas looked so upset and confused. Anxiety nearly cracked right there, but he reminded himself of Roman's words, and he locked away his emotions once more. Well, it didn't seem like I was wanted, he admitted harshly. You all made that pretty clear any time I entered the room. What? Except for you, Patton. He cursed himself for a moment of weakness. You're a funny guy. I love my dark, strange son, Patton whispered. Well, you knew that we're just preparing ourselves for the worst possible. Roman cut himself slowly. Anxiety's thoughts got darker and darker as he felt a warning signs of attack coming on. Okay, maybe I could rephrase that. We were just tensing up because we knew that something bad would. Anxiety glanced at the others in disbelief. Look, Roman struggled to redeem himself. It's just you're not really fun. And, Roman, shut up. Look, I'm the creative side, not the fluffy, cutesy, kind wordsy side. So, Roman snuck a glance at Anxiety, and the darker trait groaned. One would think that the creative side would be able to come up with a nicer way to talk to others. Logic hissed. Dark rings under his eyes. Anxiety bit back a snort. You hypocrite, Teach? You think the smart side would know when to mind his own business, Roman shot back, his bags also deepening. Anxiety frowned. Okay, he said loudly. It's real sweet that you all decided to come in for a visit, but if I wanted to stand around being insulted, I would have shown up in person like I usually do. Oh, you poor little anxious baby, Patton gushed, also with black bags. Let's just face facts. You're better off without me. No. That is where you're wrong. Anxiety felt his inside shrivel at the lie. Very much so, Logic chimed in. I didn't think any of us comprehended how much you factor into Thomas's decision-making. Yeah, Thomas said smugly. I mean, without you, he was acting like, just a big bumbling couch potato man. That's... Thomas faltered slightly. There's probably a nicer way to say that, but just an unfiltered... Just gonna come out and say it. I kinda had a mini muggins. Roman and Patty gasped dramatically. That's enough out of you, Thomas said, curling his lip. Logicked? Logicked? Is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing. I should probably say real word things. Logic. See? Logan said. He's reining me in right now because of you. You do talk too much sometimes, Anxiety told him coolly. He still wasn't convinced that they were here to get him back. It all felt like a joke. Logan inhaled sharply. I never thought I'd appreciate you saying that. We've already learned that Thomas listening to me too much can be a problem, Penn said maturely. Same with Roman, probably even Logan. Ha ha ha. Easy, he warned. Now, Penn ignoring the smarter counterpart and addressing Anxiety. Well, I still have your attention. Do you think maybe we could switch places? Anxiety just brushed off that last part. Alright, I can't say it's not nice to hear you all groveling, he admitted. But I actually think you were right to not want me around, because they were right. He was nothing but a disease, a disorder. He wasn't wanted. I've always aimed to protect you, but lately, it feels like I've been keeping you from doing anything. If your only goal is to protect, Roman said quietly, then why do you act like the embodiment of a dark, stormy night all the time? Because that's what I am, he wanted to scream. That's what my name has branded me as. Roman, Thomas sighed. What? The Riddle cried. He's a creepy cookie. You're a creepy cookie, Anxiety. Roman. You're an oatmeal raisin cookie that's primarily composed of raisins. The prince gradually got louder. A raisin oatmeal cookie. No one wants that. Chapter 16. His chest caved. He knew it. He knew it. He knew it. He knew it. Roman had always meant it when he said he wanted Anxiety gone. Pump the brakes, Princey! Thomas shouted. I'm sorry, Roman said. You pump those brakes! Their host glared at the royal. I'm sorry! The black under his eyes had darkened, and despite the agony he was in, Anxiety had a bad feeling in his stomach. I'm just a little extra passionate here. When did you apply eyeshadow? Pat asked. I didn't, Roman said. But does it look okay? Because the princess got the sleigh. Of course it looks good. Dad looked admiring. Why do you think it wouldn't? Do you have self-esteem issues? I'm asking too many questions. Putting on a dark persona is the best way to get up anyone's guard. Anxiety interrupted sharply. But all this reflecting and working on your issues has gotten me to think I'd overdo it. You can never overdo it, Patton told him emotionally. Well, Thomas was cut off by his mortality. You are perfect and special, just the way you are. I don't care how dark your clothes are. You shine. Bright like a diamond. You okay, Patton? Thomas asked quietly. I just get a lot of feelings, he responded, his black circles deepening. Patton! Roman laughed. Eyeshadow buddies. We are buddies, Patton agreed. Look, Anxiety, Logan butted in. You're a natural fight or flight reflex. That's where you're instilled in humans to act as. And for some people, yes, you're a little heightened, but it's a little extra height, right? I mean, that just means you're tall enough to ride every ride in Disney World, unless you're too tall and you tap into your discipipity on It's a Small World. Wow, sorry for the little tangent. I'm reeling now. The point is, too much of anything can be counterproductive. Well, yeah, Anxiety grumbled. But for me... Hold on, Logan shouted. Yes, I'm about to provide more explanation. Thomas, just bear with me. Okay, the host said, confused. The relationship between Anxiety and the performance can be expressed in this curve. The teacher held up a piece of paper with some lines, but Anxiety was more focused on the darkening circles under his eyes, too. It's known as the Yerkes-Johnson curve. It's named after the philosophers R.M. Yerkes and J.D. Johnson. Get on with it, calculator watch, Prince demanded loudly. Yay, loud noises! Peyton smiled nervously. Okay, Logan said, trying to regain control. Up here's where you want to be. Daddy just watched blankly as Logan explained something to everyone else, but he was just not able to concentrate. I am bittery jittery and now very glittery. He blinked, suddenly transported a few moments forward and zoned back in. Horrendently, he tried to make it all seem like he was listening. He understood the curve. He researched it before, so he knew what to say. With me, he said. Aren't you always on the other side of that? Don't seem too informed about the curve. Play it off. Curve thing? Good. You're accessing curve! Logan snapped. He held up. Ad messed me up. Give me a second. I'm just gonna take a drink because this is a lot. I'm sorry, guys. You can hear some ASMR real quick. Okay, sorry. Jerk sensing curve! Logan snapped. He held up his hands. Yeah, that. There's ways we can work on that anxiety, Thomas said, but I'd rather work on it with you than without you at all. Liar. How? He sighed. He appreciated Thomas's lies, but he knew the truth. He knew they just felt bad. I need you to feel listened to. You're like a really important alarm clock. Thomas gave an earnest look. Sure, the noise can be sudden and a little unpleasant sometimes, but it's important to recognize the concern, register it, and carry on, changing my actions if necessary. Anxiety felt himself grow hopeful. Thomas wouldn't make this up for him, surely. Yes, he would. His subconscious whispered, his thoughts affected by Derek. But even without his personal depression, anxiety knew he was being stupid. The only thing left for him to do was pretend he was convinced and go along with it. You're what made Thomas double and triple check things he needed to study before taking tests, Logan added. And also that feeling of tingliness after achieving something you didn't think was possible, Mortality shouted. E equals MC scared, Logan yelled. Sorry, was that too loud? Pat asked desperately. I was worried I wouldn't get another chance to speak, and I just wanted to share my thoughts before I forgot. Anxiety? Thomas tried to regain control. In small doses, you what pressures me to get out of bed, to get moving and doing stuff. I'm lucky to have you the way I do. Logan started speaking again. Some people have anxiety that's heightened to the point where it becomes an incredibly difficult and hindering condition, whether it's a symptom of a different issue or anxiety disorder, anxiety fronts at the words, or an unfortunate result of something someone may have been going through. Bloop. And I don't want to downplay any of that, Thomas agreed, but I think maybe I could benefit from trying to understand you better. Anxiety almost snorted. You don't want to understand me better, Thomas. I'm so fucked up. Instead, he reminded himself to play along. I mean, it's cool to see you all trying to help. Well, he didn't look to Pettit and Roman. Most of you, but anxiety? Roman comes him off. You're... The brother trailed off, waiting until anxiety had met his eyes before continuing. It pushes Thomas to rehearse before performances. You are that nervousness that he feels right before going on stage. But just as he does so, you ease up. Let the excitement and passion for performance take over. I think that's as good a sign as any that you're willing to work as a team. Anxiety felt his chest warm. And that you make us better. Liar. But anxiety smiled regardless. And then things went wrong. Was that good? Did I do good? I'm gonna cry. Patton sniffled. I just want to lose you. George Johnson! Logan shrieked. Oh, anxiety muttered, understanding the concern mingling in his mind. What the heck is going on? Thomas shrieked. These guys have all been in this corner of your mind for too long. Anxiety explained. It's corrupting them. His voice started to echo and distort. All their main functions are trying to drive them over the other end of that curve. What? Hang on. He hushed his host. We're getting them all out of here. Thomas remembered. No, sorry, that. Thomas, remember what you've learned. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Thomas followed the instruction. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. One by one, the others began to sink. Now breathe out for 8 seconds. Keep it up, Thomas. That's good. Keep going. It was all jarring landing back in Thomas's apartment, but anxiety felt nothing but a slight oppression and guilt. Okay, Rowan puffed. That was really risky, you guys. That was a really risky thing you guys did, Anxiety said, scolding. Yeah, Thomas grinned sheepishly. Pretty sure if you were with us from the start, you would have kept us from doing that in the first place. Being anxious about the idea of growing more anxious, Anxiety said. Yeah, that sounds like me. You rescued me, Roman said slowly, almost like he couldn't believe it. Yeah, well, fight or flight, Anxiety rubbed his neck. Am I right? Logan exhaled. Incredibly right. Just like you keep Thomas away from his potentially dangerous situations, you also enable him to escape the ones he manages to get himself into. I am incredibly proud of you, Anxiety, Patton said. Anxiety scoffed, slightly embarrassed. Whatever, he chokes out. But I'm more proud of myself for during the great spider threat of 2017. They were just curtains, Patton, Logan sighed. You all went through that for me, Anxiety said slowly. Don't sweat it, Brad Pitiful, Rowan said. It was no big deal. It was worth it, Thomas nodded, to regain my good old worrywart. That's right, Logan chimed in. And just like you saved us, it's the vigilant people that work the hardest to save the world. Sometimes it's better for a society to be English. Sometimes it's better for a society to be anxious than complacent. Another thing, Anxiety decided. I lower all expectations for social gatherings, so if you do actually go out, anything remotely good will be pleasantly surprising. Of course the cheers went up. Not so bad, he said. I'm not the bad guy. Party on, my dudes, Patton said with a grin. Well, Thomas said wryly, glad to have you back, Anxiety, and I promise to make you feel listened to and strive to better balance from here on out. Thomas turned to his gaze to the camera. And to all of you out there, wait, Anxiety interrupted. Oh boy, I'm actually considering it. What? Thomas frowned, confused. You kind of made me want to open up to you, Anxiety admitted, but big surprise. I'm really anxious about it. Anxious, Patton joked. Like your name. Yep. Anxiety shifted. That was, you're great, Patton. But, actually, on the subject of my name... Shut up, Rowan yelled. Oh, that's okay, Logan said. No pressure if you don't want to. Logan, Patton called, shut your ever-flappin' gob talker, okay? No pranks are misleading, Thomas said suspiciously. Not this time. Anxiety shook his head. Oh man, why did we have to have a heartfelt moment? It's totally fine, Patton rushed to assure him. This is a very accepting environment, but I have to tell you, I've been theorizing on it for a very long time, so if it's not exactly the name I think it is, I will lose it. Okay, Anxiety quirked an eyebrow. Promise you won't laugh, though? Of course not, Thomas promised. My name is Virgil! Chapter 17. My name is Virgil! Okay, it's like a band-aid, just gotta rip it off. Virgil? Logan repeated. Then he heard it. A faint snicker from Logan, and his face and hopes and heart fell. He didn't let it show. God, no. But it struck him like a knife. Oh, Dad said. But that doesn't end with an A-N or O-N. Shouldn't it be something like Virgin? Roma exploded into laughter, and anxiety had to fight back the tears. I'm sorry, there's just a little thing in my throat. They'd made fun of him. He should have known. He never should have opened up to any of them. Why is that so funny? Thomas snapped back, and Roman ceased his laughing. Because Prince scrambled for something to say. It's not. I think it's an awesome name. Thomas beamed at the darker trait. Anxiety gave him a feeble smile in return. It's not what I anticipated, Logan admitted, but I do like it. It's different, Pat agreed, but I like that it's different. It was unexpected, Roman said, but it took a lot to trust us with that information. Virgil? You could call me Verge, Anxiety said, trying to lighten the mood again. Well, this has been a day. Thomas kept talking, but Anxiety felt his stress and tears take effect, and he lost focus again. Verge? Whatever, he said, wishing he could just retreat back to his room. I'm at least glad I could offer some help, even if sometimes I could be hard to deal with. In Thomas's case, Logan said, you are indeed manageable. Yeah, Roman grinned, and you are nothing compared to the others. He hastily clapped his hand over his mouth as Anxiety glared at him. They'd all agreed to leave everyone else out of it. Others? Thomas repeated. What do you mean others? What others? The four of them looked around guiltily. Well, this is forbidding. It's nothing, Roman said hurriedly. So long, he sank out. Farewell, Logan sank out. Pan sank out singing Sound of Music. Yes, good night, leaving just Anxiety in his house. What was that all about? Thomas asked. Anxiety sighed. Look, I know I'm the one that's causing you to be suspicious, but honestly, let's table that question for another day. Gotcha, Thomas nodded. And Virgil? It's really weird hearing you say that, he muttered. Honestly, thank you for all the good stuff you do provide. You can be a good guy. Good guy. Good guy. Good guy. I'm not the bad guy. Anxiety sank out with a salute and a smile, and something inside of him lightened. Derek wasn't there when he appeared back in his room. Anxiety was instantly worried, because depression was anxiety's. He couldn't leave his room. Then he spotted a paper near his bed, and the answer was there in his head. The letter was printed neatly on a crisp white-lined paper. Dear Virgil, but now I am gone, and I'm sure you know why. Congratulations. You beat me. You rose above the sadness and summoned me, and my work here is done. You truly are a good different. In your closet, there's a gift for me. To emphasize your change for the better. You did say you had to change the purple. I will not return. Be happy, Virgil. You make them better, Derek. Tears cascaded down his face like a waterfall as the paper crinkled in his hands. He'd lost so much just to gain what he should have began with. Why did the world hate him so? Be happy, Virgil. He dried his tears, Derek's request reasoning in his head. He wouldn't dare let the turn of events break him. He was stronger than that. He had others now. Derek wasn't coming back, and he could accept that. His thoughts were permanently stained with self-doubt, and a thin sheet of gray had coated his memories. But he could learn from that. And as for the present, Anxiety almost laughed at the purple shirt and hoodie. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Epilogue. Invisibility. He was alone, just walking. Would be better than what people think of me. His purple hoodie felt like home, the last thing he had of a friend. Someone only for a sneer of hospitality. Sometimes it was nice to be alone. If I were ever have a positive thought on the matter, not when he mind was like this, everybody's image of me would ultimately shatter. His room pressed in on him, the walls dark and dizzying. And so I hiss and I lie. He needed to get out and breathe, 'cause I'm the only one allowed to be the bad guy. He was condemned to suffer. The others, they didn't let me forget. Alone. No, I'm just a disorder. They didn't care for him. I'm a bad state of mind who can't pass the border. Nobody did. No, I'd only be a refugee. He was alone. And eventually everybody would get sick of me. Alone and unwanted. I can't come out of my all-black hoodie. He looked down at his purple sleeves and nearly cried. 'Cause being a dick is part of my duty. If only he could go back to that. The things that suck most is only ever be identified as a bad guy. The bad guy. Virgil? He looked up to see a concerned Roman. Why are you out here all alone? Come on, Logan and Patton are ready for the movie night. I can't, Anxiety said softly, shaking his head. Why? I'm the bad guy. Roman grabbed Anxiety's hand. No, you're my hero. So that's the end of the book. The poem was made by Kim Yomi. Please, go follow her and shiz. So, that's the end of the book. Hope you guys liked it. So there's gonna be a poll going on my community section. A poll will be do you want me to read La La Land next, which is the next book in the series? Do you want me to read my book, The Slithering? Or do you want both alternating? Is there another book you want me to read? Let me know. So, there's La La Land. It's, oh my gosh, why did I click on the ad? So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Because, I'm so glad that I'm able to read to you guys. And, it's amazing when I get to relive books. After the Bekka911 series, I want to read, No, Maybe, and Yes. I forgot who it's by, but she's a really cool author. And, No, Maybe, Yes, it's kind of like Harry Potter. I've never read it, but I think it's kind of like that. You can't read the first book, because you can't just read the first book, because it leaves on a cliffhanger. You need to read Maybe, and then Maybe leaves on a cliffhanger, and you need to go to Yes. So, warning about No, Maybe, Yes, even though I'm reading it in, a year. It does ship Princiety and Logicality, but being completely honest, who doesn't ship them? And if you don't, I'm sorry that you're in a culture swine. So, so glad to have you guys here. I love you all, and remember to do your best.